بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. المحاضرة الأولى لمادة Embryology نظري. So first of all we need to know what is embryology. Embryology is the study of the origin and the development of an organism. So in order to study the science that will deal with embryo, we need to know the origin, means that the cells that form the tissues and organs and how they develop in a living organism. Okay, and we consider the human embryo for our lectures. Okay, so first of all we need to see that how this embryo form. Okay, what is the constitution for formation of a zygote and how they will form. So production of the sperm. Production of the sperm is actually happening in the testes that contain hundreds of compartments. Okay, that contains hundreds of compartments, and these, the compartments itself, look at here, they packed tightly as you see here. So we usually call this tightly coiled tubules as seminiferous tubules. Inside these seminiferous tubules, sperm cells will produce through a process of division. We call it mitosis. Okay, mitosis. So first of all, you need to know the location for the production of the sperms. We call these we call it testis, and the sperm cells are produced through a division we call mitosis. Okay, these figures are just for to see what is actually the seminiferous tubules. So we have two processes which are important to know that they will produce the sperm. عمليتين هي اللي راح تكون لنا السبرم. So first of all you have spermatogenesis. Okay, spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is actually a process, okay, by which haploid spermatozoa develop. Spermatozoa means sperms. Okay, so they usually haploid spermatozoa are the sperms, the mature sperms that will form or that can fertilize the ovum. So the haploid spermatozoa will form or develop from germ cells. Germ cells means the beginning cells that will be in the seminiferous tubules of the testis. Okay, so look at here. First of all, we have a spermatogonium, or let's say germ cells, or immature sperm cells. Okay, these type of spermatogonium will undergo a mitotic division. Okay, and they will form resting primary spermatocytes. And this resting primary spermatocyte will undergo a division, the first meiotic division, and will give us a secondary spermatocyte. And this secondary spermatocyte need to undergo another, the second meiotic division, and will give us a spermatid. This spermatid is a result of the spermatogenesis process. Okay, but it's not necessary to undergo a fertilization process. Why? Because it needs to develop in order to have a head, neck, and tail. Okay, so for this reason it will go another process that we'll call it spermiogenesis. شوفوا طلاب هاي عمليتين مهمة، spermatogenesis spermiogenesis. أنا دائما أجيبها بالامتحان. Okay, so the final stage of spermatogenesis, which lead to the maturation of the spermatid into a mature motile spermatozoa. Okay, if you need to define spermiogenesis process, We're gonna say that is final stage of spermatogenesis, and this will lead to maturation of the spermatid and will lead to have a mature motile spermatogule. So the mature sperm consists of head, mitochondria, I mean connecting piece that contain mitochondria, and a tail. Okay, so the head contain a chromosome that releases an enzyme in the penetration process, and the connecting piece have mitochondria that will supply energy for the tail to move, and last one is the tail to propel the mature sperm inside the female reproductive tract during fertilization. So let's come to the production of the eggs in the female. So as you know, we need to know that the location or the organ that will form the eggs, or let's say ovums. So the ovaries are the gamete producing organs not near in the female reproductive system. So actually there is a maturation process, not a formation process for the ovum. Why? Because the ovums already formed before the baby, the girl baby will be born. So the maturation of the oocytes begins before birth, not after the birth. Okay, so the process that we call it the formation of the ovum oogenesis. So the process whereby oogonia, what is oogonia? Means egg, immature egg, or oocyte, immature oocyte, will differentiate into mature oocyte. So as you know, we need the germ cells, primordial germ cell, and that will undergo a mitotic division and give us oogonium. And this oogonium undergo another division, mitotic division, and will give us primary oocytes. As the primary oocytes, together with surrounding flat epithelial cells, they will form a structure we call it primordial follicle. Look, the ovum, or let's say the primary oocyte, this is the nucleus of the primary oocyte, okay, will be surrounded by some cells of where the wall of the uterus, of course, in the ovary, okay. So some cells, black epithelial cells, will surround it, look, and we call these cells follicular cells, and the structure itself sometimes it's called follicle, okay, follicle. So you need to know the primordial follicle is the primary oocyte surrounded by flat epithelial cells. These primordial follicles, for sure, it undergo a development, and this development is the growth, okay. So whenever it starts to grow, the surrounding epithelial cells will change from flat cells to cuboidal follicular cells, okay. And this is actually the beginning for the formation of a zone. خلينا نقول نطاق خاص به احنا نسميه زونا بيلوسيدا. طبعا كلش مهمة زونا بيلوسيدا لأنه هي اللي راح يكون عندها دور مهم في اختراق السبرم to the oocyte or to the ovum. Okay, so again the primordial follicle will start to grow and they will change from flat cells to the cuboidal cells, as you see right here. And this will lead to the formation of the zona pellucida. So look at here. Primary follicle. Whenever the growth will continue, we're going to have a group of cells surrounding the oocyte of multinucleated cells, and you can see that there is a zone clearly appeared. We call the zone as zona pellucida. Okay, so look at here. the puberty, the follicular cells begin to accumulate. The time of the puberty, okay, the follicle cells اللي احنا شفناها follicle cells اللي هاي شو راح تسوي؟ راح تبدي تتجمع إلى جهة واحدة وتجمع إيش؟ fluid. They will secrete some fluid, okay, and this fluid will form a space that is called antrum. راح تتجمع كلها من الخلايا الموجودة راح تكون لنا cavity أو a space. هذا السبيس راح يمتلئ بإيش؟ fluid that come from the cells, from follicular cells. راح نسميها antrum. تشوفون structure شلون صار؟ primordial oocyte, zona pellucida, follicular cells, and we have an antrum. Okay, and the follicles are quite swollen. Okay, and are called Graafian follicle. بهالحالة احنا هاي الفوليكولات راح تصير نوعا ما swollen and we call it Graafian follicle. So تشوفون احنا when the growth will continue, I mean the process will continue, the antrum will be bigger or larger, and you can see there's a structure cumulus or porous. Okay, بس طلع and the cells itself will arrange in the theca interna and theca externa. Okay, so the development of the Graafian follicle, the local muscular contraction appear. طبعا احنا عندنا structure اللي هي primordial oocyte. احنا من اللي محتاجين primordial oocyte، ما محتاجين خلايا نفسها حاليا. So we need to release this oocyte. Okay, we need to release this oocyte. نحتاج إنه نحرر هذا الoocyte. Okay, in order to have a mature egg. So the local muscular contraction نحتاج ضغط طبعا حتى نطلع. احنا شو حيصير عندنا؟ حيصير عندنا نوعين من الضغط، ضغط داخلي على oocyte وضغط خارجي من المسلز that is found in the ovary. Okay, so the local muscular contraction appear in the ovarian wall and extrude the oocyte. شوفون كأنه صار عندنا انفجار and extrude the oocyte to the fallopian tube. راح يتحرر الأوفم and the ovum will be released by a process we call it ovulation, and it will go to its way to the fallopian tube. So as you see, the ovulation is release of an ovum from the ovary, and ovulations can also be defined as a mature egg as released from the ovary, pushed down to the fallopian tube, and is available to be fertilized. So let's see what's happened after ovulation. Okay, so it says that granulosa cells means follicular cells, means the cells that are surrounding, that were surrounding the oocyte cells remain in the wall of the ruptured follicle. As you see بشوفوها الخلايا الباقية، آثار الخلايا الباقية اللي كانت تغير في الأوسايت، فهي شو راح يصير؟ راح تبقى موجودة في الأوفري. Okay, they will together with the cells from the theca interna develop into what? Lutein cells. راح كلها تكون لنا نوع من الخلايا نسميها lutein cells. هذه الخلايا lutein cells they will form corpus luteum. Okay, راح يكون لنا structure نسميه احنا corpus luteum. طبعا بالبداية راح يصير early corpus luteum. Okay, then it will be corpus luteum. So this corpus luteum عنده وظيفة مهمة. Can secrete two kind and important of female hormones. Okay, we call estrogen and progesterone. So together, progesterone and estrogen شنو شغله؟ cautiously trying to enter a stable secretory stage in order to prepare the uterus for implantation of the embryo. Okay, all this events are called ovarian cycle, and the ovaries preparation and releasing of an ovum in a series of events we call it ovarian cycle. واضح؟ إن شاء الله المحاضرة واضحة. اللي عنده سؤال ممكن يسألني. Please feel free to ask at any time. Thank you for listening. See you in the next lecture.